Man, there's something about coffee, the nectar of the gods. When I found this cup, man, coffee, because punching you in the face is illegal. I mean, first thing I thought, oh, told y'all about sneaking up on me. But I'm glad you're here. You know who it is. It's your boy, Big Tank Hank, coming at you with another Fishy 10. And tonight, it's going down. We have AquaScaper extraordinaire, Miss Melanie Holmes, and black water is her thing, and y'all know how I am about some anabantoids and some black water. Oh, it's going down. It's going down, y'all. And she told me I was the first live stream she's done. I'm super surprised because I would think some other folks would have jumped on it. But hey, I feel blessed. So let's bring her up and see what she's got going on.
Hello.
What's going on, ma'am?
Hello, hello. It's good to be here.
Hey, I'm glad that you are here, ma'am. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
It surprised me when you said, you know, it's the first live stream you've been on. I mean,
yeah,
I have to attribute it. I can't say YouTube, but as a buddy of mine, he actually saw you in somebody's video. Mine was Facebook. Facebook.
Did you?
That's how I found you on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, for me, I'm like, okay, I'm seeing you in the aquascaping, and in my head, you know, I have this picture of, wow, you know, man, she's gonna be like, well, I don't know, you know, I'm kind of busy, I won't be able to, you know, but that's all right. I'm first, hey y'all, I'm bringing it to you. I'm bringing it to you. How you doing today, man?
I'm very well, thank you. Excited, excited to be here, excited to share my love for Blackwater.
Hey,
and we share our common love for the gouramis, and so that's perfect.
Yes, thank you. Let's see who we got over here in the chat. Right quick. Dominic LeBlue was in first. What's going on, ma'am? Tell Macho and the girls I said, what's up? Matthew Naranjo, what's going on? Danikin Aquatics, Kenny E. Booty Boys, crashing the screen. What's going on, y'all? Patty Petite Tanks, hello, ma'am, hello. Got Warrior Planet Tanks, Steve, Esteban, Jimmy P's Aquarium, what's going on? What's going on? Ricky De Hoyos, what's going on, y'all? Mark Sterlson, what's happening? Thunder Aquatics, good day, mate. All right. Let me see. Is that everybody? Jen Williams, what's going on? James, Nature Aquatics, what's going on? All right, glad y'all in the house. Hey, share this out. Hit that thumbs up button. Let everybody know that we rolling over here. Bunny Viper is in the house. Hey, Melanie, I'm gonna give some flowers to somebody right quick. Miss Bunny Viper right there. Miss Bunny Viper. She started out with, I'm so nervous. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. I say, ma'am, you good. I got you. So Bunny, right now, my highest performing live stream. Let me see, who was my highest performing live stream? God, how I'm gonna go mind blank right now, but I'll think about it in a minute. They're at 400 and some odd views, and Miss Bunny Viper is well over 520 or 30 or so. She's rolling.
Woo!
You know, and I told her, no, man, just show up. Just show up. You good. Just show up. You know, people want to hear what you got going on. You good. All right, we got them coming in the door still. What else we got here? GRB, did I see you? Amy Bennett, only Oscars. All right. Surf City Cichlids. All right, ma'am. Give a little introduction of yourself. Give them the small U to the big U. As much information as you want to give, and we're going to go from here.
All right. Well, the small me is Melanie. I'm from Germany, and I over the years I kind of developed my style into my crazy love for black water and botanical style tanks. And it just really grew into my my passion, and I'm super excited that I get to share it with more and more people now, and excited to see that more and more people actually find it just as lovely as I am, and it's kind of starting to take momentum, and I feel like it's having its moment, and that's super exciting to me. So yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Most definitely. We're glad that you did jump into this thing and take off with it. So how long how long have you been in the hobby overall?
Okay. So I've been in the States for 30 years, and I'd say out of those 30, I've probably had fish tanks at least 20 years. And so 20 years into the hobby, and the last, 2019 was probably when I really changed my fish keeping, from keeping fish and keeping pretty fish to really focusing on aquascaping. And developing my style. That's when I first started going. My first aqua shallow was in 2019 in Chicago, and that was as a guest. And then same year I went to Seattle to the AGA, and that was kind of my light bulb moment where everything changed from just keeping fish tanks to really focusing on aquascaping. So since 2019, I'd say I've really changed a lot around in my fish room. Okay. Yeah. But like I said, kept fish and fish tanks for a really, really long time. Even in Germany, I had a little fish tank with guppies and goldfish, and did the crazy thing. Like, I remember just taking it out every week. My mom would make me carry it downstairs from my room and completely empty it out, wash everything, the gravel, everything. I don't even know how these fish stayed alive, because everything got scrubbed, because she just thought it was so gross and smelled so bad. So everything got cleaned out. I would put it back and carried it back upstairs, and did that for years. And I don't know, somehow those fish managed to stay alive. We didn't know much about bioload and healthy bacteria at that time. So, and then
that's crazy how we all have that same story.
Right? I have no idea. So, but it's been a journey, definitely. It's just kind of, it's funny sometimes, like you take pictures of your tanks, and then I flip through my phone and I'll look at pictures, I'm like, whose tank is that? And then I look at it close, I'm like, oh, I did that tank. And it's like you kind of forget the things you've done, or the styles that you've done. So definitely a lot of changes, and good changes, some crazy changes, but it's neat to watch that journey.
Yeah, most definitely. So fulfilling, when you do look back. That's a wonderful thing, that to be able to have that in your life.
Yeah. And it's really good too, I think, for me to kind of, or for anyone really, to push yourself into, learning different things. Like, some things are harder for me, like scapes with a lot of stone. That's definitely a little more challenging for me, because I tend to want to go to like a very wood heavy scape, and I do try to learn those. I have over the years tried to push myself, but in the end, I have decided to just embrace my style and embrace what brings me joy. And in the end, I want to look at it and walk by and get chills when I look at it, because it makes me happy, and it just it fulfills me to look at it. It doesn't do me any good if I built something that, yes, I pushed myself, I worked on it hard, but I don't take care of it, I don't enjoy it, I don't love it. So, I'm okay with the style I have now, because it's beautiful to me. So.
Gotcha. And that's what they say, you build it and they will come. If you believe, you can bring people with you.
Yeah. And I mean, just the reaction I've had in Dallas from showing the Blackwater tank, it was great. I mean, to see people really stop and take notice and ask questions. And a lot of people have never seen a Blackwater tank. They never even realized they could have a Blackwater tank with leaves in it and with botanicals in it. And it was like the first thing they've ever seen in their life. And it was just so great. And people asked some really good questions. And people said, I would love that in my house. That's awesome. Like, how do you do that? And I mean, and it was great. Like, there was a little girl that she kept wild bettas, and she was just, amazed by it. And for her to ask those questions, and it was the greatest thing to really just educate and show people that you can just create something so beautiful with literally, you can go and collect those things yourself and create it with, not even having to buy anything, with what you already have. So that was really fun. That was really a good feeling.
Oh, that's right. I have magnolia trees and seed pods and all that in my yard.
I have I don't know if you can see it. There's magnolia seed pod right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I might start a business to start selling my stuff.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I got to spend some time with Scott Fellman from Tannin Aquatics. He came and spoke at our club last month, and so I got to spend some time with him last month, and it was such a treat to spend time with him and talk with him and just kind of pick his brain and firsthand of all these different botanicals and his travels around the world, and what he's actually seen those places in nature and what they actually look like, so I could recreate those in an aquascape. It was really a special time, so it was fantastic. And to see all those different leaves, and I mean, I do collect a lot, but I'm in Missouri, so it's we have oak leaves. We have a lot of oak leaves, but it's great. I do love it.
So do you go to competitions outside of the U.S.?
No, I mean, there's really no place yet for competitions for a Blackwater style kind of tank. Anyway, there's biotope competitions, which they're great, but they are a little more limiting. I mean, they're very, strict. You have to have the right wood, leaves, fish. I mean, it has to be a biotope setup. So that would be kind of my option if I wanted that style of tank in a competition. But hopefully in the future, at some point, there will be a category for a botanical style tank. I mean, that would be fantastic. But yeah,
just think a better show, and then over to the side you have botanical Blackwater setups.
Yeah,
I think that would be cool, because it would definitely fit.
And the fish looks so much more beautiful in a Blackwater tank. They behave so much better. Their colors are beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, really. Like, the minute you put a fish in a Blackwater tank, they behave completely different. They look different. They behave different. They're more comfortable. It's really something to see. It completely different than if you have them just in a regular tank. Every single time.
And I can tell, hey, people, let me tell y'all, how you may have your tank, you have your light on, it's nighttime, you got your light in your tank, and you turn all your lights off in the house. You're like, oh man, that's beautiful, but it's so bright, Try a dimly lit Blackwater tank.
Yeah.
With all of those lights off in the room, and see how different, how, it's like a mood changer, a mood setter,
Yeah.
Oh, and don't have your lights just right where you got the little shadow, and the shadows are moving. Oh.
It's gorgeous. Like that beautiful orange reddish color. It's just beautiful. Yeah.
Most definitely.
And it changes, as the leaves decompose and as you add other botanicals, like you get all these different shades, and it's a really pretty thing. Like at Aquashella, that tank, it went through so many different shades. And I try to, like when you set up a botanical style tank, like it looks better as it ages, as the leaves kind of decompose. So it was a little challenging to set up a tank to make it look like it's been sitting there and it's been aging, and not just dump a bunch of leaves in. But, and so I try to do that, and I think it looked really good. But then, I mean, there was a lot of tannins in the water initially. So it was really dark the first day, and I did a big water change for the show. At home, I wouldn't do such a big water change, but for the show I did. and then it just had the perfect like golden reddish brown color for the show. It was really, really beautiful. And it just really showcased the fish. So we had gold Tetras in there. Have you seen those?
Gold Tetras. Are they
Gold Tetras. I've never seen them, but oh my gosh, they were just beautiful. They were glowing in that tank. It was really something to see, and they were amazing schoolers. So they were just perfect in that tank. You know, people always think, oh, you can't see your fish, but I mean, they just pop in that dark water. You put like a beautiful fish in there, like, you know, think about it. Like even like your, you know, what everybody loves, the neons, and I mean, they come from Blackwater setups, you know, so it's just like they pop in that dark water. It's beautiful.
That's most definitely.
Yeah. So, but those gold Tetras were stunning in that Blackwater. But right now, I'm. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I said going. Right now I got most of my Blackwater tanks right now have either like have the chocolate gouramis or the licorice gouramis or a form of a betta, or then my checkerboard cichlids. So that's kind of the fish I'm keeping right now. But this one doesn't have anything yet. So I'm trying to decide, because once something's in there, it's really hard to get it out. So I want to be like really selective about what goes in there. So I'm kind of back and forth about what to add to this tank. But I have a group of croaking gouramis that I could put in there that a friend of mine's holding right now, which I think would be great in there. But I'm just hesitant because I'm like, what if I don't like them in there? They're in there because they're not coming back out. There's no way.
Right, and they're gonna dive down into the.
Yeah, no. Once something is in, especially in that one with all those like small branchy areas, there's no way. Once it's in there, it's in there. It's not coming out. So I don't know. Any suggestions?
Well, some let me see, the little bitty Tetras, the Ember.
I have some Ember Tetras in my with my checkerboard cichlids. Those are fun. They're fun.
Yeah, a million Ember Tetras. It would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they would be nice. The sparklings, because of the silver, the silverish, they would look pretty good, but you probably need more of a what how would I describe the color? Less of a base coloration fish. Some red, those what is it? Barb, not rosy barb.
Oh, like the like the Rambo barbs, or the like some of the little 5-line barbs would be pretty in it too.
So that's some little red. They were red, but I can't remember the name of them. It'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Somebody said lemon Tetras. So right now, as far as how many tanks do you have running, and what fish do you have in them?
So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running, 5 that escaped, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that escaped, and 2 that are kind of holding right now. Just a 40 breeder that's just holding plants right now, that's getting rescaped into like a botanical tank, but it's going to be a planted botanical tank. So I like to kind of push the boundaries a little bit with my botanical tanks. But it's going to have like crypts and grasses, and so plants you could find in a botanical setup anyway, like, you know, if you think of like black water or swampy water, so you could still see some crypts and plants that can tolerate some darker lighting conditions. So that's going to go in the 40 breeder. I have a 20 long that's black water with the dichrosis filamentosus, which are the checkerboard cichlids. And I have a beautiful male, and I actually have 2 more males developing, so that's kind of fun. And so it's like 7 of them in there with the Ember Tetras. And that's a really cool black water tank. And then I have a tank with a group of 7 samurai chocolate gouramis. And those are my prized possession right now. I love those guys. And then I have a tank with licorice gouramis. This one, that's my latest scape. I'm gonna add a few more, like here in the corner, the Taiwan lilies, so that they'll kind of be popping up in that open area and maybe in between some of the branchiness. I just picked some up today, so I'll add those in tomorrow. And then I have one tank that's more of like a traditional nature style planted tank that I'm still working on, that potentially could be a competition tank, but I don't know yet. So it's forever changing. My problem is that I forever change my layouts and my tanks, and except my black water tanks. Once I set those up, then they're pretty much stay the way they are. Like once I feel like I'm a lot more confident in my black water scapes too, like, because I think we kind of talked about that earlier. I'm a very like emotional scaper, so especially with my black water tanks, I just have a very strong emotional connection with those scapes. And I go in and I just like, I don't know, it's just something with that wood, and when I touch it and I work with it, it just all comes together. And it's like when it comes together, I just know it, and it's just right. Like there's just no doubting it. When I have it, I work it, I put it together, and then I'm super happy with it, and I'm done with it. And then I add those layers and the botanicals, and I feel really good about it. Sometimes when it's a different style tank, I just tend to pick it apart and doubt it and pick it apart and move things. And whereas with my blackwater scapes, I'm like, once I nail it or zero in on a layout, I'm just super happy with it, and I'm good with it. So
definitely, most definitely, because
I don't know why. It's just a different layout. It just makes me happy. It just,
it's yours.
It is just me, and it just, it just feels very natural. It just comes super natural to me when I work with a blackwater scape. It's a different mindset. I don't know why. It's a totally different mindset.
Gotcha. Oh, y'all, that was Rachel O'Leary's video. That bunny.
Yeah, Viper, I bet it was.
That's who.
Great.
Go ahead, Bunny. But yeah, it's something. I mean, me, I fell into the black water tanks like the opposite direction. Whereas when I really immerse myself in the betters, and I'm like, well, hey, what's the best way for me to keep them? And then you're talking about the leaves. I have you get the catappa leaves, and a buddy of mine was like, man, you don't need the catappa leaves. Magnolia. I was like, hey, I have a magnolia tree. So we went from there.
Right.
And then I got to where, I'm cooking, making this tea, out of my leaves and putting it up and pouring it in. That's how I got so wood crazy, and I was like, well, I'm pouring some in leaves at the bottom, and it just went from there. I'm like, oh, I have always been known as, my tanks were going to be disrespectful to the fish hobby in a sense of, I didn't make show tanks where people, my tanks look like you was going to go out and stick a net in it and catch some fish out of the nature. That's just what I like to see. So the black water just fell right into that, and I'm like, oh my God, man. I said, then these fish like to breed in this, and if it's the bubble nest builders, it helps, the viscosity of the water helps to hold the nest together and create a better environment for the eggs to hatch, and so on and so on and so on. So it just enveloped me. And here we are today. Bunny.
Well, not only that, and too though, like for my licorice gouramis, for example, they don't really eat any prepared food. All they want to eat is live food. So it's hard sometimes to always have live foods for them. But with a blackwater setup, you always have live food in that black water. There's always microorganisms in those leaves, underneath, and they can just root around in it, and they always find food. and I don't always have to worry about, gosh, I don't have any live Daphnia, I don't have any this for them. I know they're fine because of the kind of setup they're in. So that's another great benefit to having those tanks. Like this tank, when I set up a blackwater tank, I never check my parameters when the tank's ready or cycled. You know how I know it's cycled? If I tap that branch right now, it's like snow coming down with little Daphnia and copepods because it's full of life right now. Like that's what happens in those tanks. When it's ready, when that tank is healthy and ready, there's like hundreds or thousands of these little critters in there, and so it's ready for fish. I don't even need to check the water. It's a beautiful thing. It's so awesome to see that.
Most definitely, most definitely, most definitely. What have you seen in your years in the hobby? A big change. What is a big change that you have seen?
So I definitely think there is a change towards the more natural tanks and the botanical style tanks. I think the biotope tanks are definitely growing in popularity as well. And kind of, for a while it was like the Iwagumi style and a lot of stone heavy tanks and scapes, and they're very beautiful obviously, but I do think that there's a shift towards a more natural tank again, and natural scapes, which is well for me because that's what I love. But I think I definitely see that overall happening. It's kind of, sometimes you see also a different style in wood. For a while it was like all about spider wood. I feel like now you're seeing more of the darker, heavier woods again, which I'm happy about. I like that too. So I think that's, of course, I've not been in like the aquascaping hobby that long to make that huge observation, but even just in the few years that I've really been heavily involved, I feel like that's the changes I've seen.
Okay, definitely.
But yeah, it's nice to see it broaden, and see more categories, or see different styles embraced. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, because and like for as myself, I agree totally. The amanos and things of that nature. When I first started looking into it, which I can never do because they have to do the scales and levels, and this is how you scape. And I'm like, hey, yeah, I cannot follow that. Sections of 3 or the quadrants of however it went. That I can never grasp. I can never grasp that. The one I really got was maybe the tapering of the your substrate high in the back and coming. I can understand that. Okay, yeah, I got it. I can see that in my head. The rest of it, I was like, yeah, no, I don't have an eye. I don't have an eye for this. They're beautiful for me to see them do it, but I don't have an eye, like not one iota. Set these up together like this. But the black water tanks, especially yours, like take that one right there, behind you. And, I'm ready to put some fish in it now. I mean, I wouldn't mind having that here at my house right now with some wild betta chinoides in it.
Yeah.
Just with the little babies slinking around, sneaking. Some killifish will go in there real good. Some some of your brighter colored killifish will go real good in there. The cerebral fish, I think, go very well in very busy black water tanks. Like not the zipping around fish. Those fish that you can watch, in their activities where it look like they're really thinking about what's going on and what they're doing. Hunting, for the most part, you can just see this and experience it. Those I feel are the better fish I like to see in those types of tanks.
Yeah, I love watching the fish interact with the hardscape and with, kind of getting in and out, and like you said, hunting and looking and moving the leaves and just really interacting with what you created. I think that's the greatest thing about those blackwater tanks. I think how the fish interact with what you created. It's not just fish swimming back and forth and making the scape look good, which is great, like in your traditional scapes. Like, you know, in those scapes, you tend to choose fish to enhance what you created and make it, you know, elevate your aquascape, which is great. But in those, especially those blackwater scapes or those more natural scapes, I choose fish to interact with it and to really, you know, a lot of times I have a fish and then I create the scape for the fish to, you know, to kind of create something as closely resembling to where they would be from in nature. And then you see the fish actually act and behave in a more natural way and hopefully breed at some point. So, you know, that's the fun part about it. And then you can just sit and watch, and there's so many nooks and crannies and so many little things, you know, where the fish can get into. It's like, I feel like you always find a new spot. You always see something new. It's like, I always call them like my Alice in Wonderland tanks, because you just sit and watch and it's like, whoa, there's a little cranny, there's something new, there's, you know, a little path. Like, it's just this whole world, this whole creation, this whole, you just look at it and it's just, to me, it's just so mysterious and always something to see and watch. It's really something.
You need to go ahead and get some people together and start off a blackwater competition type of thing. Because I mean, give yourself a year. Give yourself a year. You know, have some delegates. You know, you can put me on board. Maybe, you know, I can work the Houston area or whatever. And I believe something can be put together, because you'd be surprised how many closet blackwater enthusiasts. Because I belong to a few groups on Facebook. You know, blackwater groups. You'd be surprised the turnout and how much interest there would actually be. Because it's a whole different world.
I see that. I mean, like, as I'm sharing more of my things, I mean, I've been into this kind of style and things actually for quite a while. But as I'm sharing more, there is a lot of interest, and people are definitely, you know, more interested or have those things already, or, you know, trying to set up things like that I didn't even realize how many people do enjoy it or are into those kind of setups. I had no idea how many. I do belong to another group. It's like ornamental woods, and it's very similar. You know, people are really wood heavy and layer all those botanicals in it. And yeah, there's definitely a whole different culture that enjoy those type of things.
Right. Let's see who we got. I don't want the chat to think I was ignoring them. Victoria Lee Creates.
Aww.
Hello. Welcome in. Bunny Viper, you know I shouted you out. Joe Shrimp Shack, what's going on? Swampy,
hey, buddy.
Swamp Escapes. Dee Dee's Finned In. Big Easy Support Group, what's going on? Thank y'all. Surf City Cichlids. Let me see. I know I got some more up here. Too Coolie for Schoolie. What's going on? Oh, y'all, my chat cut off on me right there. Cut off on me. Renee, what's going on, Renee? What's going on? George RB3, what's going on? All right. Okay, all right. There we go. Yeah, my chat cut off on me. I don't see the rest of the people. Y'all wave your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care, and I'll acknowledge you when it comes through. All right. But yes, man, what's your next destination on the road to public scaping?
So Chicago, 2 weekends in a row. It'll be the Aquascaping in Chicago and AGA in Chicago. So it'll be the last weekend in September and the first week in October, back to back. And Aquascaping, there will be the flu ball competition, so I'll be part of that. And then of course we'll be with the Oaza booth again, setting up the big aqua gallery. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then AGA is in Chicago this year, which is super exciting too. And there will be some really awesome talks, and it's just a great event. I'm excited for that one too. So, gotcha. And that should be I think that's the last one for the year then, sadly. I don't like that.
Right. Yeah, you told me how That's your
love it.
zhuzh, as they say.
It is. It's my thing. I love it. I'll be so sad. It fuels me. I absolutely love it. So I have to make some extra trips to Chicago to one of the club meetings up there. I belong to one of the Chicago clubs, to Cabs, and they have great meetings. And I need to be in those meetings and clubs. We've got some cool stuff coming up too in our club, in our local club. We're definitely bringing in some more like aquascaping type things, and so that's fun. We have a really strong club, but our club's been more like breeding, a lot of playing. We got a great BAP and HAP program, but definitely expanding into aquascaping as well. I've done like a Bobby Kuza workshop and a aquascaping demo before, and then we have a aquascaping workshop coming up first Friday in September. So definitely branching out in our own club as well. Oh, and people really have some interest in it, so that's nice to see. Missouri is not always, we don't have a lot of aquascaping stuff or stores yet, but I feel like we're growing and we're branching out, and it's great. It's really good to see.
Most definitely. Nano Aquarium guy, what's going on? Did you hear that music come in? Can you hear it?
Can I hear it?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Because it seemed like it was no music, and then all of a sudden, and I'm like, okay, where did that come from? But
oh no, I just hear it. No.
Okay. I froze, and I'm like, I wonder they see me sitting there looking crazy like this. It just came. Oh, I'm not crazy, y'all. I'm all right. All right. Oh, Joe Shrimp Shack. All right.
That's my teammate. Woo, woo. He was my teammate in at the flu ball competition in Florida, in Will Nace. Yeah.
Lady Diane, what's going on? What did y'all skate?
We escaped a tank for the flu ball competition that qualified us to go to the final round in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And it was Blackwater, of course.
Most definitely. Joe, I need you on here, man. TheBigTankHank@gmail.com. Joe, hit me up, man. Hit me up. Because I don't have your email address. Hit me up. James, Nature Aquatics, what's going on? Lady Diane, welcome in. Lady Diane says she's looking forward to scaping with you at Maasai in September.
Woo! Yes. I should bring some botanicals so we can do a little Blackwater.
Oh, Renee said the music was playing in the background. Well, Renee, I had chosen music at the very beginning, but I guess I zoned out, just asking questions and listening to answers. I didn't pay attention to it. Or maybe it turned up louder. Maybe that's what happened to me. ABC Aquatic Biotope Creations, what's going on? And that's something else. I'm glad I saw Joe's Shrimp Shack. Something else that I have found in my tanks with my Blackwaters. I start off, the Heterangia formosa, the least killifish.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have a few of those.
I put least killifish in everything.
Really?
And shrimp.
Uh-huh.
I start off with those two, least killifish and shrimp. I put them in everything. And then I'll add centerpiece fish, a pair, of something here or there. Depending, I have 3 tanks right here that I've done. And I want them, their specialty in a sense. And I'm trying, like, you were saying what should go in the tank behind you. That tank, this one here, and I have another one on this side that they're like I'd have planted them up and wooded them up. And I hadn't put any other fish or anything in it because I want to have, some specific fish for that. Because I have grown in the last few years as a fish keeper where I would just have fish, boom, just drop fishing. I got fish here, I got fish there, just fish. I've kind of gotten away from that. Guppies I always have. I have some fry right here. I have a 50-gallon tote on the ground over there with some mixed guppies. I'm always have guppies somewhere, but as far as these 320 longs, I want them to be specialty tanks.
Mm-hmm. I know. I've definitely kind of started restraining myself. I used to be pretty impulsive about buying fish and getting fish, and I would put them in a tank, and I'm like, oh dang, now they don't fit in that water and escape. And I've gotten way better about it to where I'm really like, sometimes I have a tank sitting there without anything in until I really know what's going to go in there to make sure that it's the right fish for that setup, because those blackwater scapes are so intricate and so detailed that, I mean, you would tear it up completely. If I put fish in there and then I have to catch them out, it would destroy the escape. And you know, I put a lot of love and a lot of time into those in those tanks, and I don't want to tear them up. So I definitely take my time now about making a decision of what goes in there.
The light went off behind you.
I know it did. I need to turn it back on, huh? Hang on a second. I'm gonna turn it back on.
Crystals, Pets and Plants, what's going on, man? Welcome in.
There we go. I'm on a timer. I guess I went out too soon.
Hey, y'all passing out Twinkies over there? Don't miss me with the Twinkies now. Hey, I haven't had the fried Twinkies yet. You remember me talking about having a live stream where I talked about nothing but snacks?
Uh-huh.
And they talking about Twinkies over there.
Oh, no.
CPDs. Yeah, CPDs would do real good.
Yeah, they would look really good in there. That's true.
CPDs.
They would really interact with that kind of in and out.
Gotta have a fried Twinkie. See, y'all getting me off track now. Y'all getting me off track. Okay.
Think healthy.
Ooh, they get me off track now. So man, what shrimp? Have you had shrimp in any tanks?
I do have shrimp in my my tank with the samurai chocolate gouramis, but I don't put any fancy shrimp in it because they obviously eat them. But that's part of the reason I have them in there as kind of a food source also. And so I usually just get like the cold shrimp from the guys in the club. And they do well in there. I mean, they breed and they have a lot of shrimplets, but it's definitely nothing fancy. But obviously the shrimp love it. I mean, they're in and out those leaves, the leaf litter. That's like a perfect setup for them. But yeah, I wouldn't put anything fancy in there not with the gouramis, because they're food. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah, otherwise it would be great. Like if it was a fish that I know that wouldn't necessarily pick off as many, I would probably try to get a little bit. But truthfully though, I like in those real natural blackwater tanks, I think a natural looking shrimp looks better than like a real colorful one, you know, that's not something you might find in nature. Like I would like more natural looking shrimp anyway. So because I feel like it looks like it belongs there. Gotcha.
And I agree totally. My buddy has reelies. He has these reelies, and he's always giving me the culls, and they breed like crazy around there. And they always end up with a wild looking shrimp that'll have some of the slight clear spaces in them, but yet the majority of the shrimp is black or dark brown. Yep.
Yeah, I like the natural looking shrimp a lot. I like natural looking fish in general. I'm not a huge fan of like those crazy bred fish that are, you know, long fins that are not supposed to be long finned, or, you know, crazy colors if they're not supposed to have them. Like they just don't fit very well with the style of tanks I have anyway. Like I enjoy the natural looking fish or native fish. Like those are the fish I enjoy in a lot of those tanks. So
gotcha. Do you have any native fish from your area that you keep?
I used to have a big native fish tank. Unfortunately, I lost them. The tank crashed, and it was pretty devastating. But I had a really cool looking Missouri native fish tank. We have some beautiful fish. I had rainbow shiners, which are one of my favorites. When they're in spawning colors, they're just stunning. I had darters, rainbow darters, and some other darters, mosquito fish. It was a fun tank. I really liked it. Part of me always wants to set up a bigger one too, because I really like the long ear red sunfish. Those are really nice. Yeah, they're very cichlid-like, but they need probably at least a 40 breeder or bigger. But I like native fish a lot. We have some beautiful fish. I like collecting them, or even just going collecting and letting them go. But it's fun to explore the creeks. Actually, I think I'm gonna go tomorrow. I need some accent stone for one of my scapes, so I think I'm gonna go and take the German Shepherd puppy and go for a hike and collect some stones and probably some twigs. Who knows?
Gotcha. ABC Biotope Creations. He said, I have 300 rainbow shiners and 300 rainbow shiners and some rainbow darters. If you're looking for some.
Yes, please. I'll set up another native tank. Those are amazing. It was the most heartbreaking thing to see that tank. I don't know what happened in that tank, but they were fine. And then I came home the next day and I lost everything in that tank literally overnight. It was absolutely devastating. I don't know. It was really hard.
Because everybody else lived. You took me back to my Chinoides that I told you that I lost. I'm like, but that was multiple tanks and everybody else lived though, so it couldn't have been a crash.
I don't know what, it was bad. And I had I've been working on getting that school of rainbow shiners for a while, and every now and then we get them in the club. Like we'll have like rare fish auction, and one of the guys will get them in, and I had gotten some, and then I've gotten a couple another together. So I had a decent sized group, and so excited and proud of it. And I had this tank, and I don't know, they were all gone. It was pretty it was bad. Like we said, there's just certain fish, like you lose a fish, okay, but then there's a certain group or certain fish, when you lose them, it just kind of it gets you.
Yeah,
and that's how I felt about those. I was like, oh no. I couldn't even, obviously I took the fish out, but I couldn't even break down that tank for quite a while. That tank just sat there and sat there and sat there. I just couldn't even get myself to break that tank down for a long time, because I was so upset that I lost all those fish in that tank.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm here to hurt with you.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Ooh, do you have any family members that you've gotten into the hobby or the escape or anything?
No, not really. I have 3 boys, so they're not really into the fish keeping. I do ask them sometimes. I'm like, oh, come in here and look at it. What does it look like? And they'll say, oh, it looks like we're like when we're at the creek when we're kids. And I'll take that as a good thing, because to me that's like, okay, it's natural and that's good. It looks good. But that's about the extent of it. They're not really into no, unfortunately, it's just me. Me doing my thing with my fish. But, I don't have any other family here, but that's all right. It's all right. It'd be kind of expensive hobby if more than one person does it, I guess. I get it.
I hear you. Yeah, that's about my kids. I don't think my kids have even fed a fish in here, but
yeah,
hey,
I have them on. I know. I have them on feeding duty when I'm gone. They'll do that. But other than that, no, they don't really. I'll come in and look at it, but one time one of my sons came in and he said, I shut the one tank I'm working on that's like more of a traditional scape. And he goes, that's really, you did that? And I say, yeah. He goes, that looks like a professionally scaped tank. I was like, well, I'll take that as a compliment, I guess. I said, I don't know if I should be insulted or if I should be flattered by what you said. That looks like a professional scaped tank. All right.
What are my other ones? But okay.
Right? I'm like, so what are you saying?
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. What's the largest tank that you have scaped?
My largest tank I have right now is my 40 breeder, and that's probably, as far as like truly scaped, that's probably the largest one I've scaped. I mean, I've had a 75, like, so 2019, before I went to AquaShow and AGA, I had a 75-gallon tank, and I would say I scaped that tank before I really got into aquascaping. But after I got back, I kind of broke it down, sold it, and then really focused on smaller tanks. It's harder to scape those bigger tanks. Well, financially, it's harder because, I mean, you need a lot of resources for a large tank like that. So, and I was like, you know, that's just not feasible. I like the lighting, the substrate, anything that goes in those tanks. I mean, it adds up quick, and then when you do that on a, you know, anything bigger than a 40, that's a lot. So, I mean, so yes, I did that 75, but truly like scaping, I think 40 breeder is probably the largest that I have. This is a 32-gallon cube, and then next to me I have like a 32 long, that's like more traditional style, and then the others are about 20-gallon tanks, I would say. So
okay. The 33 long, 32 long.
Yeah, it's actually, it was a saltwater tank. It's just a tank. It doesn't have like the built-in filtration, but I got it, like a saltwater store was closing down. It was a brand new tank, and I got it at a really good price. And it's a beautiful, just a rimless, long kind of tank. So.
Gotcha. They get me, and when I watch the stuff like in Japan, and they say liters, you know. Oh, this is a 32 liter, and I'm like, oh man, wow.
Oh yeah. Well, that's good for me because I'm from Germany, so that all makes sense to me. The liters and the centimeters, that all makes sense to me.
Okay, because they get me.
That's what I'm used to. Yeah, the metric.
I'm like, let's stop the video and go to Google.
Right.
Well, it looks like a 40 breeder. It looks about like, you know.
Exactly.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
All right,
I don't like the super small ones. That I find them a little hard, but I think it's because I like a lot of wood again. So those really small tanks, they're a little hard for me to scape. I mean, because, you know, they're small and they're really delicate. So trying to get the kind of look I want, sometimes that can be a little bit tricky, but 15, 20 gallon is probably, to me, like a good size.
Okay.
Yeah.
GRB says, do you prefer glass tanks or acrylic for aquascaping?
I would say glass tank. I don't have an acrylic tank. I know a friend who has an acrylic tank, so that's the only way I can compare it. I don't think they're quite as clear, the acrylic tanks. I feel like the glass tank is definitely more clear. And then I would be afraid of scratching the acrylic too. I'm not the most delicate, I guess. I can be a little clumsy, so I would be afraid to scratch up that acrylic pretty bad, you know, when I kind of haul that big wood in and out. So yeah, I would probably say glass, a little more durable.
Melanie told me to ask you about your t-shirt distressing technique.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I tend to do my DIY t-shirts, right? I like to modify them to make them a little more hip.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm not mad at you. Craig Doniger says, would 8 liters be enough dirt for a 2-foot?
8 liter of substrate?
Yes.
Is that what he's asking for a 2-foot tank? here's the thing. 8-liter bag. I have to think. What substrate is he using? Is it?
It says dirt. Just dirt.
Dirt. I've never done a dirted tank, so I don't know. But what I do, I don't use my good substrate for the entire tank. So I use like planting substrate only where I actually plant plants. So I use
fluval strap.
Fluval. Yeah, I personally don't put it into the entire tank because I don't usually plant anything in the front anyway. So I would, like, if I wanted that substrate, it would be like in the back. And even then I would use something underneath to raise it in the back and then just put the substrate on top of that, you know, like 2 inches or 3 inches deep to plant the plants in. But I wouldn't waste all my substrate to put it everywhere. That way you save yourself money. And you know, if you wanted a whole carpet, of course, then that's a different story. But I like the look of sand at the front, so that's how I do it.
Okay, so that one behind you, that's angled up backwards.
Not a whole lot, honestly. I put in the scape first, so these are a lot of different pieces of wood. This isn't just one piece, right? This is a lot of pieces. Like, you know, I worked them until I had the layout, and it's a little bit angled up in that far corner, so it kind of goes with that triangular shape. So that way when I plant the lilies in there, they'll come up a little bit better. But it's just about flat, and a little bit of angle, but not much. But it's mostly sand. There's just a little bit of substrate because the lilies would do okay in sand anyway. So I don't feel like I really needed any big substrate in there, that plant substrate in this tank. But I have a little bit in that corner. So, yeah, I didn't think I needed it. But even in my like more traditional planted tanks, I have still sand in the front and then substrate in the back. And if I build a slope in the back, then I have like you can use crushed lava or lava rock or anything underneath to build it up first and then put the substrate on top.
Okay.
Saves a lot of money.
Yeah, I hear you. Bunny Viper says, could you add yourself to Fish Fam Link? You have a YouTube channel?
Not really. No, I don't have a YouTube channel.
Okay. Any Instagrams, anything?
I have an Instagram. It's Mimi Loves Germany.
Okay. I'm actually friends with you on there, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were asking for the link over here, and I was like, I don't remember. Okay.
Yeah, it's Mimi Loves Germany. And I do put my my tanks up there, which it's really hard to photograph a blackwater tank well. Like, that's the other bad thing about it. So I need to do some studying, I guess, on how to do that better, because they're so hard to photograph. I don't find it easy to photograph a tank to begin with, but then a blackwater tank is even harder because, you know, like if you photograph at a certain angle, you lose the light, washes out the tank, so then you lose the beauty of the color. And if you get the color in, then you don't have the right angle for the scape, and the camera wants to focus on the bright part, so it's a little tricky. But I'm sure there's ways. It's just, I need to be better about it, I guess. Because I'd like to share it a little bit more.
Got you. No, she's just on Instagram. Would you consider your Facebook public? I mean, it is, but...
Yeah, it is public, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And it's just Melanie Holmes, I think, on Facebook. Yeah.
So Facebook and Instagram, Mimi Loves Germany on Instagram.
Yeah.
And her regular name, Melanie Holmes, on Facebook.
Facebook, yep. Yep.
What fish do you think you want next? Like, do you have a holy grail fish?
Well, it was my samurai chocolate gourami, so I got those, and it was my checkerboard cichlids. So I have two of them that I really wanted for a long time. The other ones would probably be some natives again, some Missouri natives, like the rainbow shiners. Those would be my others, but other than that, right now I don't have any other more bucket list at the moment. But like I said, as I'm that 40 breeder that I'm gonna set up, again, I want to be super selective of what I put in there, but I'll have to think about it. I keep going back and forth if I wanna. I like to go kind of, if I don't so much like to mix fish. That's my thing. Even though they're not true biotopes, I like to kind of have fish at least from the same area. So this to me feels very Asian with the lilies. So I'd like to kind of have some Asian type fish in there. But then let's say I put the sparkling gouramis. If I put that group of sparkling gouramis in there, then I don't want to put in some South American tetras. Like, then I want to keep the same, at least region together. So that's how I like to do my tanks.
Have you ever used rice fish? Because I have some platinums
Yeah,
right
those
here next
are nice.
to me some platinums right here that I'm like, man, they were just popping now.
Yeah, those are nice. I had some rice fish at some point. Those were really nice too. They have some blue ones too, don't they? They have some with like a
they
blue.
Have all kinds now. Like,
really?
They have the koi kind
Oh
of.
wow! I didn't know that.
Different patterns, like actual koi fish. Oh, they have all black, red, orange, blue, white.
For the rice fish? Wow.
For the rice fish.
Oh wow! I had no idea.
Yeah, they've gone crazy.
Wow.
In a good way. In a good way.
Huh.
Welcome in, Hope Mud Jones. She says she really likes that tank behind you.
Thank you.
Very beautiful.
It's kind of my favorite right now. I don't know. But then again, I feel like that about every new tank I set up. I'm like, oh, that's my favorite. That's my favorite tank I've done. But I really, really partial to this one right now. I don't know. There's just something real special about it to me. This tank. I can't wait to kind of see it mature and have those lilies grow in and actually have some fish in it. There's just, I don't know. I think it's because there's really kind of story to the scape. Like, I bought this wood probably, it's several pieces. It's not just one piece, but I bought these pieces of wood a couple years ago, and I've always pictured a blackwater tank with it, obviously. And then I thought, no, I need to do something more traditional with it, and I scaped it in a 40 breeder with a more like traditional planted layout. I scaped it. I liked the scape, the hard scape, and then as soon as I added the plans, I didn't like it. It was okay, but it was not like that, oh, I love it kind of thing. It was like, oh, it's all right, I'm gonna live with it, and then I tried to fiddle with it and make some adjustment to love it, and then it fell apart. Took it all apart, didn't work out. Then I tried to set it up again, and again, I really liked the hardscape, and I actually worked really hard on that hardscape, and I pushed myself with some rock work, and I had some great support. And as soon as I planted it again, I didn't love it again. I was like, what is up with this? And then it just dawned on me. I'm like, this wood needs to be a blackwater tank like it was supposed to be to begin with. And so I took it apart again, and then I put it in this tank, and it all just kind of came together beautifully, and I just loved it ever since. So I should have just went with my gut to begin with, like I had intended to. I don't know. This wood it was meant to be a blackwater tank. So I think that's why it's even more special than the other ones, because we had some growing pains with this one.
And it's definitely a gift that you're just, you're getting the way you're really embracing it. That's yours. Wow, there you go. This is what you put together. Jay Oliver says hello, and he was glad to see you.
Oh yeah, it was really great to see him. It was fun. It's always such a good time at those shows to me to see all my friends that I only get to see, um, once a year or twice a year, three at the most. Like, I wish we would all be closer to each other, but I enjoy that time when we all come together.
Right. Live feedings ASMR. What's going on? Yeah, Victoria, how, you holding out on? Hey, how haven't you been subbed to me? I'm glad you're here now, though. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, he says your tanks are outstanding, and I agree.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Most definitely. So, have you thought about having like a class, whether it be like maybe a video series or where you break down like your way of black water scaping thoughts? Because I know most of it is passion, most of it is is heartfelt, but I know somewhere in there there's some things that actually hold true to what you like.
I mean, there's definitely like, yeah, and there's definitely like, even though like the way I scape, I feel like it's very like a passion, like in the moment thing. Like I don't ever sketch anything out or really have a plan. Like I just kind of see the wood and I work with it, and it just tends to come together. But I feel like there's definitely, like when I do the black water scapes, especially, like I told you earlier, I think when I do a regular scape or a more traditional scape, I tend to be very insecure about it, and I tend to kind of pick it apart, and I need reassurance from my mentors, and like, what do you think, and do I need to move this, and is this okay? But when I do a blackwater scape, like I'm totally confident, and it just comes together like always, and I don't doubt myself. It's just because I'm super passionate about it. I'm really confident or comfortable with it too. But there's definitely like a method, even though it's very passionate and I feel the wood and I feel it and it just comes together. But then there's just these layers that start happening, and it's not just like, okay, you put a piece of wood in there. Like I said, these are like countless pieces of wood, like, but even if it's a heavier piece of wood, there's so many pieces. It may look like one or two pieces of wood, but like there's all these little pieces that I glue together to make it look like it's like a root that was caught like in the bottom of a river or in a swampy area, whatever I'm trying to recreate. So it's like countless pieces glued together, nestled together, and then when I start adding all the layers of the botanicals and the seed pods, I try to make it look like it's been there for months. Small pieces, bigger pieces, where would the leaves or botanicals get caught naturally in the current and in the wood. And so I try to place them heavier in that spot, heavier in this. And then I will add like some plants or grasses, because in nature, like even though it's a swampy area, the sun's still going to shine through in certain areas, and it would have some small plant growth, nothing major. Obviously, it's not going to have lush plants, but it will have some grasses or some crypts or some lilies popping through, because nature will always find its way. And so there's definitely a method of the layers that I create to give it that overall really natural, lived in, aged look, kind of from the beginning. So it's fun, and I mean, that would be kind of a fun class to kind of teach maybe at the club. Maybe I can talk to them one time to do actually like a blackwater class. That would be a good idea. You gave me a good idea, actually. I have to talk to them the next time.
Because yeah, sometimes we can, as I want to say, especially from those things that are just passion, because I can talk all day about things that I've never read, just some things I do, but I've been doing them so long. Because when you're speaking from the heart, and because I'm like, man, it's such a passion. I think she could actually talk people through without even realizing you're teaching, actual class. Because
yeah,
you have some people, like, let's say, that teach instruments, that are like passionate. They taught themselves and the whole nine, that can actually talk people through feel, and this with this, and when you. I cook, and I can go through.
I was just gonna say, it's like cooking. I mean, it's like when you have a certain, like, it's a little bit of this and this. It's not like a set recipe, but it's like you put your passion and you're loving it, and it just creates something really amazing. But you would teach somebody the same way. You do this, and then this is the next step, and then you kind of add this, and it all comes together in the end. Just
right.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I have to bring that up at our next council meeting.
Most definitely. Did what is it? Fishy Biz asked you to teach a class at his classroom?
Oh yeah. Yep. I'll do it. Set it up. Is it gonna be a Blackwater class or a regular class? Like a scaping class?
Brewski. No, that's cool though. That's cool. I mean, it's so different too. People receive better when, again, it's one of those things where if you could convince somebody, not even necessarily trying to, like, not a hoax convince them, but if you can convince them, you speaking, passionately, people, it just grabs them, without them even knowing how to they done just sucked in the whole class and learned so much because you convinced them, as opposed to somebody that's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, and you're dozing.
I mean, people in like Dallas, when they saw the tank, they're like, I didn't know you can do that. I didn't know you can put leaves in a fish tank. I didn't know you can have that kind of fish tank. I heard that all day long. It was just crazy. And I'm like, yeah, of course you can. And then they start asking all these questions. And it was really neat to, see people's, like, you can tell they were starting to think. And so I can go home and do that? I'm like, yeah, you can create something like that. And you can tell. I think there were some people going home, hopefully setting up some little Blackwater tanks.
Hey, I want to talk to my test tube crew. Don't pull out any seed pods or leaves and smell them.
No.
It
does have a smell sometimes.
Yeah, don't do it. Because see, what happened is you'll panic and you think, oh, my tank, it's gonna crack. No, it's okay.
Leave it be.
Yeah, that's normal. That's normal. It'll be okay.
Like, and I also say, like, I do collect a lot of stuff myself, and you do too, but you do have to be careful. Obviously, you don't want to collect anything where there's a chance that it gets sprayed or has anything on it. I have some friends that have property that no chemicals, are used at all. So I usually get leaves from them, like oak leaves. I at some point did collect that. We have like a little creek in our backyard. Excuse me. And I collected some roots. Like, I really love using, when you go to a creek and the creek bed washes away like the roots from a tree, and it's like the fine kind of roots that I expose, like, from a tree. I love using those in a fish tank. I think those look really good. So I found some really good looking ones, used them, but it didn't end very well because I didn't even think about it. Like, even though it seemed okay, but like all the wash off from the rain goes into that little creek. So, then all the fertilizers and the spray from the yards ended up in there too. So I don't ever do that anymore, obviously. But like, if you can go into areas where and you're allowed to collect there, where it's further away, where there's absolutely no spraying and no, chemicals, then it's okay to use. But you have to be a little careful where you collect your things. Gotcha. Most of them are, I collected a lot of things without any issues. Just that situation was kind of bad, but no.
Most definitely. Well, ma'am, we are at 1 hour and 14 minutes.
Very good.
Yes, we got there, and I told you it was gonna be all right.
Well, thank you. Thanks for making me feel so comfortable.
Most definitely. Whenever you are interesting, people are interested. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
And I try not to pull the trigger. if you don't pull me, I can imagine, people coming in, just to sit down and I'm doing it, with passion. They may just be coming through to visit. Hey, who you have today? And then they roll on out. So if they just come in and stop, oh no, nothing to see here, and then they roll on out. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want them to actually get to know you, to immerse themselves in the person.
Well, I hope somebody. Well, thank you. I hope it inspired someone to set up a little experiment, a little Blackwaterscape, and I hope they share it so we can see it. Share it to tag us on Instagram and show us your little Blackwaterscapes.
Right.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Do you have anything that you want to impart to the people? Anything that you want to plug? Anybody that you want to plug? Inspirational words?
Well, I really want to encourage people to try new things and really find your passion and don't be afraid to don't be afraid to really stand for your style. Like, it took me a while, and I had some really great support. Jen Williams has always been a wonderful mentor to me, and she's just been awesome in supporting me and encouraging me, and when I have doubts, encourages me. She's just been awesome, and it just helped me not be afraid to embrace what I do and then perfect it, because when you love it, then you can perfect it and you can really shine with what you're doing. And when you love it, it comes easy. It's not, it's just with anything. When you love what you do, it's not work. It's just passion, and you love it. So, and it's good to try new things. You may fall in love with it too. So.
Most definitely. And I love to do this.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see some more Blackwater love. So
most definitely
set up a tank and show it to us on Instagram. That would be awesome.
Right. Gotcha. But yes, ma'am, thank you very much. God bless you for coming through.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and I enjoyed it, and there was no doubt at all. Hey, y'all, if y'all check this out on the replay, thank you for coming through. It's going to soon be on my podcast, on all your podcatchers. Hank's Wild About Herps. Over there where I also have my reptiles and amphibians and all that. So please check us out. And go support Miss Melanie and this Blackwater resurgence revival. We push it for everybody to get some Blackwater in their life. All right, y'all, be good. And remember what I say. Tell somebody you love them, because somebody needs to hear it. I don't care who it is, how hard they think they are. Somebody needs to hear that somebody loves them. And take care of those animals. We out of here. Peace.
Bye.